The marathon week in Kansas continues at the 2024 PDGA Masters Disc Golf World Championships. From the Emporia area, we are with the FP40 division for round number 4. Jen, it's been hot. A little reprieve maybe on round number 4?
Peter Pan has more shade than Swope Park, so definitely feels a little cooler, a little more clouds, but less wind. So still warm, drinking lots of water.
By the way, it is Grant Zellner and Jennifer Allen on the mic. Jennifer trying to chase down Ohn Scoggins, who's built a 10-throw lead going into this 4th round. After today, there'll be a cut and then a semifinal and a final 9. Those were played on Saturday. This hole number 1 on Friday, 312 feet, a par 3.
Yeah, baseball field is out of bounds. You can take this line that the drone is flying along the fence. Try to get past these guardian trees. And there sits the little basket. You can take the hyzer line over the field, bringing in the OB, but sometimes gets through the trees a little easier than the backhand turnover shot.
Los Angeles, California, shooting 22 strokes under par for the week, Ohn Scoggins.
Ohn typically going for the forehand. A lot of these holes we've been playing this week really play to that forehand shot. We've been playing around ball fields all week long. So they tend to put that basket over to the right. Getting a lot more distance than the past years. Ohn getting all the way out, just outside circle 1.
That's an interesting observation. All the ball fields we've been playing from left field around to right field, never the other way.
Never.
Interesting.
Yeah, both courses we've played have definitely played to the lefty or forehand lines with the distance as well. Trying to get around that last cedar to punch through, because if not, you just kind of plinko down, which is fine. No 2-meter rule here.
Next on the box from Austin, Texas, this is Stephanie Vincent.
The lovely trains that you get used to, they're constantly coming through Emporia.
I hardly hear him at this point.
Another one of our international players from Estonia, Kaire Tekku.
Was it day 1 or day 2 that we had Kaire on coverage?
Day 1?
Day 1, I think it was. 2? Either way, it was a joy to see some international flavor here in this division for sure.
Yeah, she's got a lot of distance and a beautiful putt. She is a really great player to watch and always smiling. And we matched today. So, trying to fit in with my Estonian friend here with the baby blue white skirt. Twinkies. Giving that one a little bit of a run. It's going to stay close. Ohn, guaranteed, unless the basket fails. You know, that's usually about it. Did see a few missed putts the previous day with that drastic heat wave that we had out there on the ball fields. So Stephanie, myself, and Kaire will tap in for the pars.
And off to the second. 372 feet, another par 3. This one maybe slightly uphill.
A little bit uphill and lose a little bit of distance trying to go around the trees, but I really like this hole because it's more of a golf shot. You know, so many of the holes that we've been playing on these courses are very short and you pretty much just have to park them. So this one, we have some trees to throw around. You have to shape a shot. and a little bit more of a placement shot. So beautiful hole. Difficult to birdie, but that's okay. You don't have to birdie them all. Ohn keeping this up and getting great distance on it. That's usually the only error that Ohn will make with that forehand drive, is that she'll cut it a little too low. So as long as she doesn't dig too far to the left, she really is getting so much more distance. Stephanie with the perfect line, letting that disc hyzer back towards the basket.
And I have to ask, what are the temperatures like for you compared to the day before? It was still a hot day yesterday, but noticeably better.
It still got up into the 90s, but there's just a few more clouds. And like I said, this course just has more shade trees, even though it feels like there's an oven coming up from the ground. There was a couple more clouds towards I think the end of the round that made it feel maybe just a little bit cooler. Greener grass, though, kind of sometimes just doesn't make it feel so hot. Swope Park is just, for some reason, so much hotter out there. Good little bid from Ohn.
I need higher.
Little CTP from you, circle's edge.
Just didn't get the spin on the height. We're all gonna tap in some pars here. Plenty of birdie holes coming up though.
Looks like everybody, maybe after day 3, sort of taking their time, pacing themselves.
I think
You
that's
mentioned
the
people,
fatigue.
yeah, people drinking water, all of that.
That is the fatigue.
In a backyard kingdom, not so different from your own. A prince of southern royalty was born of the plastic stone.
At the third, a sub 300 foot par 3.
A couple of ways to attack this green. You can take the more direct line that's on the left side. Just watch out for those high branches that come into play. Or you can try to sneak around the right side and get between the tree and the bush there, and it's going to skip up right towards the basket. So you're gonna see this same disc, same shot from Ohn on so many holes out here. This is her destroyer, and it likes the basket.
It's right there.
Get a little bit of a right to left wind. I almost switched to the hyzer, but I never practiced that. I was just kind of taking this direct line, but getting it a little too high. And that branch, I don't know if I've seen a disc that's made it through. Stephanie does go ahead and switch to the hyzer, getting a little bit of a skip. And that's something that we don't have too many holes that'll allow us much of a skip. The grass out here, being a very wet spring into summer, is very thick, as well as that branches.
Almost gets it around. So Kaire will throw first. I like that the Estonians tend to match. I don't know if you've noticed all
That's
week.
why I
the
matched
men
her
and,
today.
The men and women all.
They wear their flag colors. They wear this blue and white, typically. Just a little pitch up, landing right on top of Stephanie's disc, so that's why it Looks like one disc went missing. So I'm going to mark and then let Stephanie just literally mark on top of my mini because they were directly on top of each other. So Stephanie with a great drive as well as Ohn. They're going to tap in those birdie putts.
And we are to the fourth. This one just over 300 feet. Another par 3. This one a little bit uphill and then flattens out.
Yeah, uphill to the right a little bit. It did, I think, range at like 315, so just a little bit longer. Have to either go around this bush in the middle, left or right. That Mando on the tree back there does not come into play anymore. That was for the other hole, that basket placement. This was one of the courses that had quite a few hole changes after the flooding. Ohn really mastering her angle on that forehand today, keeping it nice and flat, not turning it over. She's going to be pin high to the right, about 20 feet. This is just a little too understable for the line that Stephanie was going on. If that had the stability, it would have hyzered back over towards the basket. Going with the Cayman and somehow sneak it right between the V of the tree. Unfortunately, this is the spot you get the most ground play on the entire course. So out towards circle's edge. Just a little too high on this one, so it's going to hyzer off to the right as well over there by Ohn.
Stephanie playing first now.
And she's very accurate with this little straight approach shot, typically always hitting the koozie. Giving it a good bid. Had the height.
Almost stays up for you. Now Kaire to clean up.
Both of us just catching the nubs on the basket. We were just a little bit downhill. Ohn with another beautiful birdie.
We move on to 5, a 250-foot par 3. Sure, you could fly the route the drone is going, but most, of course, don't.
Yeah, that is great drone coverage, though, there through the tunnel. This one actually ranged around 200 feet. It's a little bit shorter than 250. Most of us taking the path on the left because the right side has a very low-hanging branch that is difficult to get around. And they did mark the whiskers there, as you can see, that we could tee from the grass. Ohn and Stephanie did not realize that. I'm pretty sure Jason told us in our meeting, but they said they were shocked because I step up and tee to the side, and they were like, "What the heck?"
Foot fault.
They're like, "I wish I would have done that." I'm like, "Oh, there's a whisker." But that was not there, I don't think, the previous day. So I had a great line on this. It's just such a short hole. So Mako had a beautiful flight with a lot of glide and goes 50 feet long. So I got that 250 mark.
Definitely did that, Kaire.
Yeah, with a beautiful, her forehand touch is so pretty.
Stephanie putts first.
For shade purposes, I was out, but all of us knowing that kind of speed of play, and if you're in the sun, we want you out of the sun as soon as possible.
Okay.
So, and our incredible camera crew, we don't want to make them walk back and forth as well. So, pretty hot out here. We're all tired. Just stringing them together this morning, or afternoon, I should say. We've been teeing around 2 o'clock every day. So right in the heat of the day, humidity very high still. I think it was close to 80%. It's another very unfortunate kind of right side chain out for Kaire. Still going to tap in that par, as well as Stephanie and myself.
Visit quirkygoodies.com today. We have over 100 fun, unique disc golf tees along with hats, stickers, metal wall art, and much more. Use code PDGA20 for 20% off.
And we're at the 6th, 226 feet, another short par 3.
Yeah, these are all the added holes from the flooding, so they just kind of tossed in a few little holes over here with the space that they had. OB comes in directly behind the basket, I would say within 10 feet, so you really have to be careful not to go too long.
And you can see that bumping up the scoring average just a little bit here at the 6th.
But another just perfect distance for Ohn's little forehand. Although that looks like it kicked off the tree just past the OB line. Stephanie taking a nice little hyzer line as well. And just getting more ground play than we're used to. So both of those great drives just sliding past the OB line, but they're going to be right there for the par putt.
Got it.
5 seconds of lost focus. I just taken a call from my son. Super excited. Congrats, AJ, for passing English. He was wrapping up his summer school. So, and then Kaire just with a great drive. Just a little short, and maybe playing that a little bit lower since she saw Ohn and Stephanie's great drives go long. Actually went with the forehand because it usually doesn't go long. But that's maybe like the longest forehand I've ever thrown. So that went like 160 downhill. And unfortunately is just past the line. Game of inches, Grant. So turn this very, very short hole that I've only thrown putters so far. Putter to putter to putter, and just a little short. So I'm going to tap in my double bogey. I'm going to be one of those people that increases the...
bumped up that average.
Yeah.
I'm still just enjoying the fact you took a call from your son and found out he passed English before you played this hole.
Oh, I'm almost embarrassed to say that he's like, I got an 80 on my final. That's the best I've ever done. But it's also the first time I've ever tried. I'm like, oh,
Mom's
win.
disc.
I guess it's win.
Mom's disc flew into the tree. He can tell you which part of that's
Yes,
the preposition
exactly.
and which part. Nice. All right.
Hopefully so. Maybe not, though.
And you're
That
right.
shows a par, but that's a double bogey.
It sure must be a reprieve here to have so many more holes in the shade than you did.
Yes, yeah, it is.
Round number
Even though
3,
it's
so.
steamy. Now we're back to the normal hole. This is the Monkey Island, as the locals call it. Hole number 7, 320 feet. You must land your disc inside that concrete wall. Nice hyzer line going over that little short tree or even around towards the light pole puts you towards the basket. We have been seeing some beautiful forehand shots that are taking it out over towards the pond and then dropping back in nicely. So both have been working well. Ohn is going to go the forehand line, and that was a little low, I think, day one, but she saw how high Kaire took it. And so she's going to try to get it a little bit higher. That's perfect. That's a good kick.
Another foot higher, and she's out.
Yeah, so getting it in the wall. This is one that the OB wall helped us. Stephanie with the beautiful line. There's that hyzer line just right over the short tree. Gonna put her just outside the circle. So this is a hole that she dialed in the previous time we played this course. And she's taken the same line and even better.
Just great.
And you'd step up and you wouldn't think this is a forehand hole. So props to her for just dialing it in, which a hole that really plays for the right hand backhand. Just getting a little too much juice on it. I really feel like I was throwing harder because I was so tired. And so I think I felt that I had to put a little bit more on my shots. Putts were hitting low. Everything just felt very weak. But I guess I still had some power, so. Going long.
Here's the proof.
Trying to get it as high as possible. Still just not enough. Just a hair short to the left. So we're all going to tap in our pars, and Kaire's going to get the box with the birdie. Big shout out to the gallery as well. Every day we've actually had a pretty good little gallery, which has been nice because we've been on other courses. So
Hole number 8, 298 feet.
I feel like this plays a little longer than that. I don't remember what I ranged it at, but you're gonna try to go between these trees. You can go directly straight at the basket or play along the right side and try to get a little bit of a skip towards the basket there in the shade. This is a neat hole. I think this is a really good golf shot. Lots of the holes out here do provide multiple ways to get to the basket, making you have to pick and decide. Kaire's been going with the hyzer, but this one she kind of went more of a turnover line. She had parked it, I believe, the previous round with the hyzer line. So she's going to be off to the left. There is no OB to the left. OB is in the road that wraps around this course.
We haven't really talked about the wind much during this round, which is significant.
Yeah, it actually was pretty calm. There was a few gusts, but for the most part, it felt very still. Stephanie with a direct line, just right at it. Again, getting more of a skip than we've been used to, but she's going to be just inside circle. Trying to take my stable T-bird and just throw it straight and let the disc do the work, but holds on to that line a little bit more. It starts to hyzer out at the end, but it goes a little too straight before I needed it to turn.
See Kaire trying to think about what she's going to do, visualizing it with the angle of her hand.
So just trying to pitch up, getting caught up in the branch or that little bush just a little bit. I'm gonna give this a big bid. Turns up just a little short again on the left side.
Off the metal.
Keep hitting that front cage.
Just
I'm all right on
there.
line, just a little short every time. Starting to get frustrated with it. Stephanie just a little bit on the right side. Gonna bounce off about 10 feet or so. Good catch.
That one stayed in.
Finally. She's been hitting on the right side. She moved it to the left and it stayed, so we were happy to see that. She's had so many unfortunate spits that look like great putts. We're going to tap in the pars and go to the final hole of the front nine.
Nobody is immune to a course like Northwood Black.
Just throwing laser beams.
That's so good.
Bresnell, the birdie, the fist pump.
Critical shot.
Gotta get up. Bresnell.
That is a shot of a champion.
Your 2024 Champions Cup winner, Andrew Bresnell.
And to the 9th, listed at 232 feet, a short par 3 to end the first half of round number 4.
OB sidewalk that runs through the middle, plays as a river. You can lay short of this little where the drone is flying right now. So either side of that sidewalk is safe, but the sidewalk behind and the sidewalk to the right is OB, which is different on the next hole. So this hole is a little unique. Just laser beam right to it, gets a nice little kick, so there's no straddle putt needed. Lets us go a little bit high. It's gonna hyzer off to the left. Oh well, no big deal. My
Safe
range.
over there.
Yeah, it's my range.
I'm up by 16. Stephanie Vincent.
And this is just her perfect distance for this disc. There's so many holes that are this exact distance, and she throws that disc, I feel like, on every one of them and just puts it underneath the basket. I'm going with a putter and just put a little bit too much on it. So I'm in the grass, but just on the wrong side of the sidewalk.
Mm-hmm.
So Ohn is back there. I promise you will see this yellow putter flying up soon.
There we go.
Stretched out, straddle, maybe 80 feet? Count it.
Okay. From oh well to...
She said,
okay.
oh well, because she knew she could make it.
My goodness.
She didn't say, oh well, because she thought she messed up. She said, oh well, because I can make it.
It's in the bag.
Coming up
Good
again.
run there.
Just a hair short on that left side. So unfortunately turning this little birdie hole into a bogey, tossing up a couple strokes to the card. Card mates are just gonna tap these drop-in birdies in.
It's a nice way to make the turn here on day number 4 of this 5-day championship. Stephanie Vincent, for the moment, taking control of second, with quite a bit of golf yet to play, including a cut and then the action on the final day. So a little bit of jockeying position yet to be had here on day number 4. We'll be back with continuing coverage from the 2024 PDGA Masters Disc Golf World Championships.